Missionary family, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you are watching us. We have come with the segments we have named Teen Lens. We have named that Teen Lens because we are going to be featuring Jerry on the show, who will be telling us what is in the mind and in the heart of a teen of this generation, how they think, how they would want things to be done, what they are doing. And I will also be here to represent the parent of this generation, the millennial, the Gen X of this generation, and how we can learn from these young people on how to parent them and their expectations, the adjustments that we need to put in there. And so every parent out there, every young person out there, this show is ours. And so let us always be here to like, to share, to comment. And it's very important that you share with us the topics you would want us to tackle, so that we get to learn together, because we are in a generation where we must adjust whether we like it or not. So you are welcome, and the show has started. Welcome, Jerry, on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
So Jerry, you promised me that you're going to represent your fellow teenagers on this show.
Yes, I am.
So how old is Jerry?
I'm 15 years old.
Greet our viewers and then
good afternoon, good evening, and
good morning.
Good morning from wherever you're watching. As Aya said, I'm Mugabe Jeremiah, and I'm here to represent the teenagers in the show.
So you're going to be honest with me.
Yes.
Let's go straight into. So there is a lot of there is an imbalance or kind of a debate out there in the parent of today on issues to do with, can a parent be their child's friend? Can a parents say, my children are my friends, and others say, no, you're a parent, you're not a friend. If you try to enter the friend zone, then you're going to have problems. So what's your take on that? What do you think?
My personal opinion, I think parents can be their children's friends, but it's not that you're the child's parent, then you are their friend by default. So being the child's parent, you'll have to take an extra step to be their friend.
Okay, how do you become your child's friend?
Being a child's friend is interacting with them more than what a parent would normally do. Let's say being the child, if the child has their friends, then you're also friends with that child's friend, with their friends as well.
So when you do wrong and I scold you or I spank you, does that mean I am not your friend, or I'm now getting out of the friend space? Because as a parent, I am supposed to really, when you do wrong, I have to, to come out and be the parent. I want to know how can we become our children's friends?
Disciplining the child does not necessarily mean that you are no longer friends. Since it is that parents' role to discipline the child whenever they go wrong, they'll still have to do that. But what would keep their friendship is that even when they have disciplined the child, they let the child know that what they have done is wrong, why they have beaten them, and then they would apologize whether or not it's needed.
Okay. You tell them why you have beaten them, and then you in other words, you work out a relationship. They need to know that they've done wrong.
Yes.
Okay. So you see, for us when we're growing up, those things are not there. Those things, if they beat you and even finish beating you before you know even why they've beaten you anyway. And even when you find out, you're innocent, there's no way you can defend it. And so today we are trying to probably raise you that way. So now that is something we need to learn, that we need to let you know that you've done wrong here, then we can discipline you. And so then is there anything else we need to know to be your child's friend. And how about those who are saying a parent can't be a child's friend? Uh, how? Because they have their reasons. They say, a parent is a parent. You're not your friend's buddy. You cannot, because their friends tell them, they tell them their friends their problems. They tell their friends their challenges. They mess up together. So, if the parent is going to be the child's friend, does it mean they are also going to, to be in that kind of setting?
The parent being a child's friend necessarily does not have to mean that they would have to mess up together to to have that type of connection. It's that they would be very freely interactable with each other, but then there is where they would also have to stop and realize that this is my parent. So should not over joke or over play around with them. And the parents who are saying that their child cannot be their friend are mostly respect oriented parents who believe that my child is supposed to open the gate, wait for me to come out of the door while holding himself like this and greet me. Then they serve me food, he goes and sleeps. No one sits in the sitting room as I'm watching TV.
Yeah, we can't be on the same level in
Yes.
others. Okay.
So I think those are parents are saying that their child can't be their friend because they wouldn't want the child to familiarize them too much.
And it's wrong.
Yes, it's wrong.
For a child of this generation, okay? So you see what Jeremiah is saying. I think I also agree with you. I happen to also have grown up with a father who even everywhere he goes, when he's giving speeches on our functions, our weddings and all that, he mentions it. He says, I'm friends with my daughters. And indeed, there's somebody who approached me on that and was like, I don't agree with your dad, what he said, because your father can't be your friend. A parent is a parent and a friend is a friend. But I disagree with that because I see how our father relates with us. Probably it's different from how other fathers relate to their children. And it's not that we don't have that fear of or reverence for him. No, we do actually. We I wouldn't want my dad to catch me on the wrong side of him, or I'll fall short because he's my friend. I feel like, and he's not going to beat me. I don't remember when he ever beat us, but there is a way, there is some, I don't know how to explain. There's a relationship he built with us that you would not want to make him angry or to do something wrong. And even when you do wrong, it affects you because you have hurt your friend. And I think he built it from the way he was bringing us up. He was raising us. I like telling people, uh, and they laugh about it, that each of us, I have 5 sisters, and each of us would have always known that we are our dad's favorite. Each of us knows that it's their dad's favorite, and we have our reasons. One will say because I resemble him more, another one will say because his well-behaved daughter, another one is like I understand him better and all that. But what has made us feel special, each of us feels special in his presence, it's how he treats us. Even when he calls me and he's about to tell me something, he'll say, my beautiful daughter, how are you doing? And he adds that, I know you're the one who understands me better. I'm going to discuss this with you. I've not talked to anyone about it yet. And yet he has already talked to another sister of yours, used the same exact words with her. And he makes you feel, each of you feel special and different. And it makes him feel like he's sharing even a secret with you that he has not shared with anyone else. And probably he knows you as someone who understands him, something like that. And then another thing I like giving as an example is we used to take, herbs, this herbal medicine, what they've made herbs for like the stomach ache, for the headache, for the malaria and all that. And it used to be so bitter. So you'd find my mom is going to get a stick. By the way, I'm so close to my mom. I don't want you to be misled. But my mom would get like a stick, you know, mothers, typical mothers, either sand or whatever she has around her, whether it is a mingling stick, whatever she has, and she'll hold it and she'll say, take, drink very fast. And so she will spank you. You will drink it while crying, drink it while even vomiting it out, but you will drink it anyway. Okay? When it came to my dad, he would say, my daughter, my princess, come, sit here. Then he's like, you see this? I have put sugar. It's not as. And he acts like he's putting sugar for you, when he has not actually. I have put sugar, and then it's like, it's sweet. It tastes it even. It's like, oh, the bitterness has gone. So what you're going to do, you will just put it there in a one big gulp, and you drink. It goes at once, and then we will take also a spoon of sugar, and you're going to be good. And that way you would, yes, be fearing, but at the same time you're convinced that it's not as sour or as bitter as it is supposed to be, because he has convinced you that he has put some sugar. So you would drink it. Yes, of course you'll find it is bitter, but remember, you've already taken it. Then another thing, you're not even angry because you've taken it. Now he's even telling you, wow, that's my girl, she has taken it, give me 5, and stuff like that. Then he gives you probably like a spoon of sugar, tells you, it's gone, and now you're going to be fine. You see, those two ways of parenting or of doing things, you've all achieved what you want. The child has taken the medication, but the relationship built is different. The other one has taken it for fear of being beaten or for your fear, than this one who has taken it based on friendship or on coercion or on that. So it built us, it made us grow up viewing our father that way. So when I stand and say my dad is my friend, it is valid, because after growing up now, that's how I relate with him. He's my friend, of course, not as a buddy. Like I said, there are things he cannot know that are in my life. There is a way I relate with him. He remains in a position of a father, but the way we relate is a bit and totally different. So I think I also agree with Jerry, and indeed I've met parents whom he has described, whereby a child tells you, I sit and have a discussion with my father. How can that? I sit and watch TV and we start even talking about football with my dad. How? When he comes, everyone runs out. When he talks, everyone, shuts up, everyone can't talk. So those are two different ways of relating with a child. And I think the other one is not an enemy either, but they are not friends. The child is aware that, my dad is my dad, and I don't question him, I don't ask anything, I can't, laugh with him. And this other one, yes, he's a father, he's a parent, and the child still knows this is my parent. I cannot just mess up and just come before him and start telling him that we are friends, but still the relationship is different. The child can probably now, at least, even when they disappoint their parents, they know that there is that, I can come to him and ask for forgiveness. So I agree with you, I think, on that. We are on the same page. Then we want to add on that, and then we go to something else.
Okay, about children being their parents' friends. There are some children who are again they take their friendship thing too much.
I think even the parents also do it that way.
Like now that they could be having a discussion and then the child is like, mommy, keep quiet, but you're saying the wrong thing, and the parent is fine with it. I've seen people like that at my school, and me, I just look at them and I laugh and I'm like, yes, bro, they don't fear death. That's my normal comments, that they don't fear death.
So their parent would have killed them.
Yes.
Say, you mommy, keep quiet. And
yes, that's keep quiet, you're saying the wrong thing.
No, I think that is way beyond. Yes, I've also met, it was a public place, and I met a father who it was disgusting actually. The child is actually confronting the dad, and I don't know, he's like, what have I done? In that form, what have I done? And the child is like, you did this. When I entered the doctor's, it was a hospital. You entered the doctor's room, and there is a way you talk to me in a rude way, stay outside, I still want to. You should have, and the child is making the father accountable publicly, and as if in a format also that is, I don't know, that is more of a peer to peer format. No, I think we need to lay boundaries. Everything needs boundaries. Even when you can explain yourself, for example, you must do it respectfully. Even when you can, actually, in Africa, in Africa, parents don't make mistakes. So even when the parent has done a mistake, there is a way we present it. You just see my tone change, my actions change. You start seeing me, I just like now ignore. Probably if I was quarreling and you give me an explanation and it's valid, and probably I was wrong, I will not say, okay, my son, I'm so sorry, forgive me. Have you forgiven me? No. There is where parents out there, please, as we are trying to now adjust, there are boundaries that need to be set. Like, somebody just comes and, kids of these days, mommy, I will whisper, and they laugh, and they, no. You need to still, even when you can chat and laugh and play together, you maintain the parent position and the child maintains the child position. Like he said, even if the parent is saying things that are not, you cannot just shut me down and just tell me, no, keep quiet, mommy. Now I tell, are you lie? Oh, you're saying, mommy, you are lying. How does a parent become a liar? So even when what they are saying is not true, these are things you can sort much later, and you're like, but mommy, I did not understand what you said, in a respectful way and on a side. Okay? Yeah, that is good that you've brought up. I've seen it somewhere, and it was even disgusting. It was a father, actually. Mothers, at least it could probably be understandable. We are too soft. But the way he was acting, he was trying to fit in that friend thing we are talking about that is confusing parents of today. Saying your child can't be your friend. Why? Because they see the friend is, it is, but as a friend we are talking about, can't my child fear me to come and discuss something with me? Because if they can fear to discuss it with you, they will go discuss it with the wrong people. Can can I hear my child out even when I have something against them? Can I give them chance to explain themselves and stuff like that? Okay, I think that is it. Now, I wanted to talk about our generation. You know why these days such is coming up. There is a lot of shift in the generations. Our generation and your generation was totally and totally different. It is, I don't know how to explain to you, but maybe on the show I'll keep picking out one thing or another. But for example, um, my times, for example, we didn't have the kind of information that is all over the place these days. You can just Google anything and get information. You can just, everything is out there. As long as you purpose to look for it, it's out there. No, it was not. For us, everything was limited. TVs, we heard about over TV, two TV stations, if not one TV station, which was which would determine what we watch on it. The radio stations also were very few, and they were national stations whereby they air according to what they've chosen. Today, I mean, it's you to choose what will entertain you. Now it's no longer even about the TV station or what. TV stations are now something else. There are children who will tell you, I don't watch any TV station, but they're always on gadgets. They're watching everything you want. And movie, you can watch it anytime you want. You want a series, you can watch it anytime. So communication and all that kind of stuff is different from ours. That is why it is affecting us on how we parent you. For example, now for me, my parents, it would be easier for them to determine what I watch because the options are few. But now we cannot determine what you watch because there are many options and you can access it anywhere. If you don't access it on a phone, you access it on a laptop. You can access it on your iPad or on a TV or any. The screens are everywhere. Okay, so even I like telling the girls of this generation that the exposure I had as a girl child back then, it was also still protected. I was protected. First of all, the dangerous person on a girl child of my generation was a strange boy. Any strange boy was a danger. So my parents would easily protect me from that. You can't visit a boy anywhere. You cannot meet with them. They can't even also come to your home, school, home, school. And I was in a single girl school also. So it was easy to protect me. Okay, so but the child of today, it's not easy to protect them because the potential dangers are, we don't even know the potential dangers are anybody, including their own sisters, including their own cousins, including, all that kind of stuff. So everything is readily available. But I wanted us to talk about all those we shall tackle with their differences in these different shows that we are doing with Jerry. But today I wanted to talk about this common thing called prom. Uh-huh. Prom, by the way, in my generation we had no prom. You can be shocked. We had no prom. We had what they used to call Leavers Party. And this is what Leavers Party looked like. It was, okay, boarding schools, remember we used to have the same meal, portion beans. So on a Leavers Party, the only difference was, okay, you go to the main hall, design it the way you want, design it, okay, by writing on the board some words, senior 6 or senior 4 Leavers Party of this and that, of this year and stuff like that. And then go get your party dress, one like this. You would come with it at the beginning of the term because you have no chance to get out of the school after that. We used to celebrate, I think, Leavers Party used to happen weeks before exams, then later they pushed them to second term. But it was not of a big deal like today. That is the point I want to make. It was not a big deal. You have your party dress, which had to be long, by the way. They also determine what you should put on. This doesn't have to be revealing. And I was coming from from schools that would allow growing hair, but it had to be natural hair, natural hair and combed out. Today it is treated hair, then cornrows, then I don't know, braided. Other schools go an extra mile. They really do a lot of things. But ours, you grow your natural hair, and depending on how long it is, you're allowed to style it. Not treating it, even when you are finishing senior 6 in the next 2 weeks. Not treating it. If they find it treated, they will cut it off. Those who have their long natural hair, you were free to style it. You style it yourselves. No salons coming, no makeup like these days. They do makeup or what. So it was a simple thing. The schools I went to, there are schools that used to invite in, like, I came from an area where there was strong solidarity between the boys' school and the girls' school. So sometimes they used to probably invite the boys' school to the girls' school for their Leavers Party, and still it was so controlled that it's all about just sitting together and eat. That day they cook for us nice food. You eat. You were given chance to dance at the end of the party, but also controlled. No one touches you. But me now, the environment, the school I came from, it did not allow even the boys' school coming. So you would attend your party, just you guys, the OGs of that very school, and you just dress up very well with your dresses, style your hair, come out, and these other classes are just clapping for you, how smart you are, and you just enter the hall, the main hall, and the party goes on. The party is led by you guys, but the teachers are there and all that kind of stuff. They just give speeches, thank you for being good students, this and that, and the party ends like that. But today, prom. Prom, a person needs, I don't know, a suit, and then he needs, I don't know, culture wear, and then needs a dinner's money dress, and then needs, I don't know, about 4 or 5 attires. Then they need a special car. Worst of all, now we have choppers in place, hired cars. What's the fuss? What's this whole thing about? And what's your take on these things?
Um, well, like you have described it, prom is its main theme these days is it's about showing that this is what I can bring to the party. It's not about what originally prom had been designed to do. It was about congratulating you for reaching this fine school, for making it this far, and wishing you, first of all, if for the schools that have prom before exams, it's wishing you success in your exams, and then for the staff to wish you well as you continue to the next level of education. That's what prom was designed to be. But these days, it's about showing a lot of things. Like now, for the school where I came from, my former school, it's supposed to have there's the first attire, which is just for the walkway alone. You have to have an attire for the walkway. You have to have an attire for inside, like when you're in the hall. Then there's an attire for pics as well, for just for taking pictures at the photo booth. Then there is the it's either cultural wear or contemporary wear basing on the theme of that year. Then there is the dinner wear. And there's the dance wear, the which wear and the dance.
All
Then
that
those are
provided by
six.
the parent.
Yes, those are six wear. Then at some schools, I'll not mention their name, supposed to come with cars, very expensive cars. People come with G wagons, very very rare cars that sometimes you don't even see on the street. Then some bring phones, and all of that is good if the child can facilitate, if the parent is willing to facilitate the child. But in a school setting, in my opinion, not all that is required.
Yeah, because you can't afford it, and the pressure is is that pressure is too much on the parent first of all, and on the children who can't afford it. First of all, it means you've now brought different classes in the school. This one couldn't afford, this one could afford, and yet in the school setup, you're all supposed to be on the same level. Like I said, I've studied in a school where you can study with the minister's child, you can study with even the president's child, you can study with the top business person's child, but in school you're all on the same level. They used even to limit the pocket money you should come with. They used to limit, we are supposed to have, there was a specific kind of suitcase each of us is supposed to have. It doesn't matter whether you can afford a leather suitcase or a what, you all had to have that metallic suitcase. Then we have boarding uniforms. There was no bringing outside clothes from. So when you're inside the school premises, you're all on the same level. And I think for me it was, but like I said, my generation probably is not today's generation. That's why we need to know from you how that helps, how good that is. Because if a parent says, but if a parent can afford, let their child enjoy and all that. But there is life out there where you can choose to showcase your class out there. But in school setting, I think the school is supposed to be the one to protect. It should be a safe space for every child, as long as some schools, people are there for academic reasons. They are all on the same academic level. So let that be the standard, not classes of people like the rich, the poor, the moderate, because we are living in a generation where young people they get affected by those embarrassments alone. You find the fact that the child cannot afford, it alone affects them. Others, if the parent doesn't want to provide it because they want to fit in, they will find different ways, especially if it's a girl child and she has a man who can provide the things she would want, then she would still go have those things for them. So that pressure, if the school can set the standard and say, okay, this is a school setting, all children are on the same level. As we celebrate, let us put boundaries. I think it can be good for a child of this generation.
Yeah, I agree because, for example, like now, just the outfits alone create some sort of oppression amongst the students. And since people of my generation are easily affected by what they see by people who they look up to, for example, of recent, the Met Gala took place and people came with very different and surprising outfits. Now, someone who is very moved by a specific artist, for example, A$AP Rocky. Now, someone came, like he came, he's a rapper, so he came, he had A$AP Rocky. So he came when he had, I think they're called cornrows. Then he had a cane, he had a very nice suit, some sunglasses, and there was Pharrell Williams. He had a suit that had pearls. It was a white suit and there were all pearls on it. So now someone would look at that and would want to replicate it.
Yeah, that's a design they're going to come up with.
Which was also very costly. You can't get that suit in Uganda. You have to ship it. Now that's a lot of pressure on the parents. Now if the parent decides to say no, the child can break down, can cry and say my parent hates me and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, I really wouldn't like that much oppression of where the students are given the right to overshow what they can bring.
Yes, yes. Okay. That is great. That is good. Sure, you share with us your opinions and what you think. As parents of this generation, I know we are missing the mark, especially because we're in a generation where we think what we did not get as growing up, we need to give it to our children. Others, we are trying to make up time because we have no time for the children. We are too busy. We want to make it up to them by providing everything they ask for. And so I think as parents, we need to consider what must the child have, or if my child doesn't have. Actually, I forgot to tell you, in my school where I finished my senior six, in S4s, it came to an extent, I don't know how it is now, but S4s used to attend their party in school uniform, and how it came about issues like those. Now the party dress alone made some students feel left out. A child, the parent can't afford a party dress, so she can't even talk about it to the parent. And so a party reached, the school has organized the party, the school has done everything, and half of the school, they are not attending. They are not attending because they do not have a party dress. The school had to make a decision.